Hello all, just a quick one before the video begins. I keep recording videos and forgetting to mention to you all about subscribing and liking and all that other stuff. I've been doing the channel for over a year now and I've never asked any of you to do that, so getting into the habit of asking you all to do that is a bit difficult seemingly, but I'm just inserting this here to update you all on what's going on. We're about 400 subscribers away from our goal of 4,000 plus at this point, at the time of recording this. And I just wanted to say a big thank you to you all for your continued support and doing what I've asked all of you to do very kindly. Subscribing and liking and commenting and all the rest of it definitely helps the channel, and it tells YouTube to push the videos and get them out to more people. So when you're subscribing and liking and sharing the videos, you are really helping me and the channel. And, well, you're helping it to grow. As soon as we get to our 4,000 goal, we can launch the next stage of the channel, which is Discord and Patreon. So, again, a big thank you for your continued support. I've noticed spikes on my end. If you could all continue to do that, I would be eternally grateful. And we'll see if we can let the YouTube algorithm gods pick us up and take us even further. Big thank you to you all again, and hope you all enjoy the video. Well, those of you that have been subscribed to the channel for a long time will remember this one, and it's been a while. Lazav the Multifarious, and again, Griselbrand showing up. Ever since I uploaded that video, Griselbrand's been showing up again. Yeah, we can keep that, I think. I'm not saying that I'm the cause of Griselbrand coming back, by the way. I'm just saying that it's a strange coincidence. I don't think for a second that most of the people that play on Magic Online actually watch this content. Alright, let's just get down our commander here, and then next turn we can go for Phyrexian Dreadnought. It'll come into play, and we'll have to sacrifice it. When it enters the battlefield, sack it unless you sack... Yeah, so we have to sacrifice it. And then we'll be able to swing in with a 12/12 Lazav. And if we can do the same again next turn, then we'll get our opponent on commander damage by turn 4. And in my experience, Griselbrand just uses a hell of a lot of ramp. It doesn't actually use as much removal as you would think a mono black deck would. Viscera Seer. This is the thing. I don't know if I can remember how to play this deck. I don't know if we want a Viscera Seer in the graveyard or not. I think we will put it into the graveyard. I think sometimes we need Lazav to sacrifice itself or something weird like that. Like I said, I haven't played this deck in a long time, as some of you will be aware. Alright, well there's a training grounds. That's not going to be of much use to us, so let's go for Phyrexian Dreadnought. We'll see if our opponent has some spot removal in hand here. Phyrexian Dreadnought comes into play. And we will not sacrifice any creatures. So Phyrexian Dreadnought goes into the bin. We can pay 1 to have Lazav become a 12/12. And it is still our Lazav the Multifarious. Hopefully our opponent's got a go for the throat in hand if they've got spot removal. Well, they take a hit for 12 commander, so it might be that we win next turn. Nope, they've got a Doomblade. We do not have any reanimation, so we will have to take that, I'm afraid. Turns out this is a different type of Griselbrand deck, much slower than all the rest that I've seen online. But we get into a land, that's good. I think we just have to go for Thought Scour to try and draw a land, and for Search for Azcanta to try and get us into a land as well. So let's mill ourselves. Argument to be made for holding on to that, actually, just in case our opponent gets into a Vampiric Tutor, is what I was going to say. Do we want that Vampiric Tutor? I think I might just go for an Ancient Tomb with that Vamp Tutor, actually. So let's go instead for the Training Grounds. Yeah, let's go for Training Grounds. And then we'll see what our opponent does. It might be that we have to grab something else with Vamp Tutor, but we could go for a land with that. And then even if our opponent goes for Bojuka Bog, which they don't, we can go for Buried Alive and go for a combo with that. Okay, an Overflowing Chalice getting their first ramp of the game going. They've got 5 cards left in hand. So let's go Vamp Tutor. And let's grab that Ancient Tomb. Then we'll drop the Ancient Tomb, go for Lazav. And then we'll get a Surveil 1 here, see if we want to throw something in the bin. Land we do not want to put in the bin, so we will click that and put it on top. So we know we're getting into a land next turn. Now, how is this worded? It just becomes a copy of the creature, so it's not until the end of the turn, so we might as well do it now. Let's go Phyrexian Dreadnought. And it doesn't exile the creature from the graveyard when we do this, so our opponent has to deal with Lazav. And it turns out that it's not as heavy a ramp build as I go for, so may well be that they've got answers in hand still. Well, our opponent does not have any removal apparently. Let's look at the top. Oh, we can't look at the top of their library with Bolas's Citadel. They might have a board wipe or something on top that gets rid of our commander. Our opponent's saying that they've played against Lazav the Multifarious a lot of times, and the players always have the, whatever this is called, Phyrexian Dreadnought in hand. I don't know about that. I play a lot of Commander online, and I have not seen Lazav the Multifarious since roughly I stopped playing it. So, yeah, maybe our opponent's playing against different people than I am. But there we go. They obviously didn't get into an answer there, so we just swing in again next turn. And that is 24 points of Commander damage on our opponent. That is the classic way to win with Lazav the Multifarious, but we can also go for an infinite combo like I was telling my opponent. That was a pretty quick one, as Lazav the Multifarious games tend to be, so let's get another one going. A couple of 2-mana Dimir commanders, Lazav the Multifarious versus Sygg River Cutthroat. And I am keeping that because we've got the mana drain. And I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that we actually get into a black source. Got negate as well, so... Well, there we are. There is a Sunken Ruins. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to keep the Sygg from coming into play. Let's go for an island. And then we can go for the Sunken Ruins after that and hold up mana drain. Unless we decide that we want to go in for... Oh, that's interesting. Ah, our opponent just passed through to their... straight through to their second main, so I assumed that they weren't going to cast their commander, but apparently they are. Let's drop the Sunken Ruin and not bother going in for our commander just yet. I want to play a bit of a control game because we've got negate and mana drain, and I can't remember the type of stuff Sygg goes for. Sygg is a really good commander that's underplayed, and I can't remember what type of thing Sygg goes for. They're definitely going to hit us for 1 here, but I don't think they're going to be able to draw a card this turn. Alright, well there's a little tempo play at the end of our opponent's turn. Let's bounce that. And if they've got counters, then it's a counter they're not using on something else we've got. Well, they do decide to allow that to be bounced. Let's definitely get down a black and blue source here. We'll just go for Watery Grave because there's nothing that we can do for 3 mana. We only need 2 mana held up. I'm thinking if we can get up to enough mana, we can go Demonic Tutor into Buried Alive and then go for Lazav and combo out immediately. A Kira. Creatures you control. Don't really care about that. We do care about having 3 mana though, I think, so let's mana drain it just for the sake of having some mana. Oh, and that's a shame. Our opponent still has their commander in hand. Why would you scoop to that? So we were going to draw what? A Sunken Hollow. So we play the island, so that comes in untapped. Then we've got 3 mana. So we put 1 into Demonic Tutor and 1 from here. Then we've got Dimir from the island and this. So we can go in for Lazav. Then we'd have 2 floating, which we wouldn't use. No, we wouldn't have enough black mana, unfortunately. That's annoying. So we couldn't have gotten off a win that turn, I don't think, had we have gotten something other than Sunken Hollow, which is actually noteworthy. Maybe we would have drawn, let's say we would have drawn into Watery Grave and played the Sunken Hollow here instead. We could have shocked that in and had enough black mana to probably go for Demonic Tutor and our Commander and Buried Alive next turn, along with the 3 mana from Mana Drain, means we combo out next turn. But the fact that I drew into, or the fact that I fetched the Watery Grave instead of Sunken Hollow, messed us up on winning that turn, so yeah, shows how important it is to get your lands right, I think. Okay, let's try again. Lazav the Multifarious versus Kozilek, the Great Distortion, with Intuition. Yeah, let's keep that. We'll probably just with Intuition going for the typical Phyrexian Dreadnought and Invisible Stalker line of play. Wow, our opponent gets into their Mishra's Workshop immediately and probably means they can get down a bunch of Mana Rocks to go in for Kozilek. Let's just play the Stifle. I don't think it's going to do as much good, but we'll hold the Stifle up this turn anyway. Well, Steel Ingot, yeah, don't think. I mean, hopefully they just Windmill Slam their hand onto the board. They actually can't use this 3 mana to get into Kozilek, so yeah, we'll just see here. They probably go for some kind of Eldrazi land with Expedition Map. No, they go for Urza's Mine. So they're trying to establish Tron there. Oh, they've got the Urza's Power Plant and the Urza's Mine. I've never actually seen anyone get Tron down in an EDH game, either in 1 versus 1 or in multiplayer. Take the hit for 1 here. Alright, let's just play the Bloodstained Mire and we will continue. Do we want to continue to hold up Stifle? Let's get down instead. Our Commander. And we'll get that Surveil going, and Ancient Tomb is helpful, so we'll put that on top. Might play that next turn so that we can go for Intuition and Stifle. And Everflowing Chalice, so how much mana is that? They've got 4, 5 and 6 there. Then they go for, when it enters the battlefield, reveal hand, non-land, exile it until it leaves. And then the target opponent draws a card. Well, let's pick your poison. I imagine they go for Intuition here. They go for Negate, fair enough. They don't want us to counter their rocks. There we go, so it's Ancient Tomb. Now then, what can we get with Intuition? It's any 3 cards. And an opponent chooses one. Okay, let's just go. We'll hold up the. Oh, we could have stifled that, couldn't we? I forgot all about. Don't often run Stifle, can you tell? Alright, we'll hold up the Stifle again, and I'll actually remember that I've got it this time, hopefully. If our opponent goes for the Kozilek, then we can actually counter that, and that's probably the thing that we ought to counter. Oh wow, they've got Urza, there we go. Tron, sorry, they've got Urza's Tower, the Mine, and the Power Plant. Followed immediately by Pyramid of the Pantheon. And they go for this, that is 2 and tap, 1 mana of any colour and a brick counter. Looks like Kozilek to me. And there it is. So we go for Stifle onto that. They've got 1 card left in hand. They are going to be left with a 12/12 Kozilek. Doesn't have haste though. They only have to hit us twice with that and we're down. So we're not really worried about our life total currently. It's commander damage that we're going to go down to. So let's take a hit for 4, 5, 6, 7 here. And then at the end of the turn, let's see if we can be smart about this Intuition. We target our opponent with that because they're about to choose which cards to give us. So what we could do is go for... What can we do here? We could go for Necrotic Ooze combo. Yeah, we don't have any discard though, do we? So let's just go for the usual. Yeah, we'll go for Vector Asp, the Phyrexian Dreadnought and the Invisible Stalker. I think they'll give us the Invisible Stalker. In fact, yeah, I think they'll give us Invisible Stalker. So there we go, there's Invisible Stalker. So there we are, there's that. And then we can play the Labman and the Invisible Stalker next turn to chump block or to double block the Kozilek. Then try and go in for our combo next turn, because Invisible Stalker will be in the graveyard. So yeah, we'll go for that. What we're trying to set up here is an unblockable Lazav with Invisible Stalker. So we'll need 4/5 mana. So turn it into Invisible Stalker. Then when it gets through, turn it into the Vector Asp. Pay black to give our commander Infect. Then turn it into Phyrexian Dreadnought for 12 points of Infect. And they gave us the Phyrexian Dreadnought, surprisingly. Okay, so our opponent clearly doesn't know what we're trying to do here, which is fair enough. You don't see this commander too much anymore. So that just means that we go for... We need to hold up black mana, definitely. So we go... Yeah, we can do it like that. We go Phyrexian Dreadnought played. Oh, I don't think we have enough, actually. I don't think we do, now that I think about it. Let's just sacrifice that. Okay, so we play that, it's sacrificed. Then we can turn this into Invisible Stalker. No, we're 1 mana short. We need another mana to turn it into the Vector Asp. Put the mana into Vector Asp for the ability. Then go for Dreadnought. What we can do, though, is turn our commander into Phyrexian Dreadnought and have our commanders trade. We'll just see what our opponent does here, because they're outracing us with these things. Yeah, they just block there. That's a shame. Just 1 mana short of getting it done. Our opponent was actually very good in going for that there. Yeah, that was well played by our opponent. Let's get this down and try and buy ourselves some time. I don't know if they can actually get their commander down again straight away this turn. Maybe they can. That is 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, they can easily get their commander down again here. And then they can slam down, and they can get down their Gilded Lotus as well quite easily, thanks to Mishra's Workshop. So there we go, they get their commander back down. And that is 7 cards in hand. And I don't see what we can draw into here to help us out with this one, unfortunately. So it doesn't really matter what we block here. We just... I think we have to take... Oh, come on, Modo. I think we have to... I don't think taking it makes a blind bit of difference, does it? Nah, we'll just take the 4 there, get rid of the Foundry Inspector. Chrome Mox is not what we need. We don't have haste, unfortunately. Actually, that's a point. Going for... This is where me not playing the deck in a while hurts us. Going for Nether Traitor over the Invisible Stalker actually would have been a better idea, because that has haste. Which one's this? We exile something, don't we? So let's play that. And they... yeah, I forgot about that ability. They can discard something to counter, can't they? So that gets rid of our Chrome Mox, because they discarded a land. Let's just go in for Lazav for the fun of it. A Basalt Monolith we want in the graveyard. Then we'll just play Search for Azcanta and concede to our opponent. Say good game to them. Yeah, maybe tutoring for something else. I don't think it would have made a difference, actually. Yeah, maybe tutoring for something else might have helped us out there. Although we would have needed that Chrome Mox to land. So that's by the by. Hopefully you all enjoyed this one. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching. Lazav the Multifarious versus Sisay Weatherlight Captain with card drawing shooters in hand, so doesn't really get much better than that, does it? Let's keep there. Alright, now the question is, every turn matters with this deck, so Mystical Tutor into Buried Alive sounds good. Because then we can go for a turn 4 win maybe, so let's play the island, and we'll go for Mystical Tutor to draw into the Buried Alive next turn and cast our Lazav. Just a forest for our opponent, no fast mana, which is always a blessing. We'll go Mystical Tutor into, what did we say, the Buried Alive. And we'll try and set up a combo win. Don't want to help our opponent on black mana if we can help it, so we'll just go Swamp into our Commander, which is going to be a sitting duck for a couple of turns. But it is the difference maker between a turn 4 win and over. Let's put the island on top, because we are running low on blue mana. So yeah, the combo that we're trying to set up here is we go for Buried Alive next turn, and that gets us into Necrotic Ooze, the Phyrexian Devourer, I think it is. Yeah, the Phyrexian Devourer, not the Dreadnought. Phyrexian Devourer and Triskelion. And that's infinite damage, and hopefully we'll show you how that works this game. Our opponent might not be too happy about it, but they've got a couple of turns to do something. So let's drop the island. Like I said, I don't want to give my opponent black mana if it's going to help them. They are a Wooburg deck. Let's go Buried Alive. And we'll go Necrotic Ooze. Phyrexian Devourer. And Triskelion. They're not going to swing in at my opponent. I don't want to tempt fate. And getting in 1 point of commander damage is hardly something that we're desperate to do. Avacyn's Pilgrim from our opponent. Well, they may have a lightning bolt in hand still, but I think they would have got it down straight away if they did. And they can do it in response to us activating Lazav anyway if they've got it, so we're not out of the woods yet. Unclaimed territory from our opponent. And they name human there, so trying to get into their Sisay next turn. And we get into Tunnel Vision. That is a card that we don't need currently. Let's just go for our combo win. Turn Lazav into Necrotic Ooze. And Necrotic Ooze has the activated abilities of every creature that is in the graveyard. That includes the Triskelion and the Phyrexian Devourer, of course. Phyrexian Devourer says exile a card off the top of your library, and the card that you exile has a CMC, and you put plus counters on your commander equal to the CMC. And then Triskelion allows us to take those plus counters off and ping our opponent. So using both of these abilities in tandem like we can on Necrotic Ooze allows us to go in for infinite damage. Doesn't matter what our opponent does here unless they've got some kind of split second thing, which I highly doubt they do. We just go infinite on them here. Now this is obviously a more spiky build of a commander, and it's not something that I typically like to play, as you all know, but I do want to make varied decks, and this is one that I'm sure some of the newer subscribers will enjoy. I've been up against a few powerful opponents myself today, so getting off a couple of powerful wins here and there doesn't exactly make me feel too guilty, because I've been stomped a few times with this Lazav deck. There's actually some inclusions I need to make in the deck from recent sets, because I haven't played this one in about a year. And our opponent, after we show them a few times what's going on, they decide to scoop it up. So we were just exiling stuff from the top of our library there with the Phyrexian Devourer, and the CMC of the card dictates the number of plus counters that are put onto the Lazav, and then we can just remove the counters with Triskelion, like I said. Remove a plus counter from it and it deals 1 damage to any target, so we just do that forever and take our opponent's life total down to 0. A more spiky deck, like I said, but I know some of you like that, so you'll have to let me know if you're interested in seeing more Lazav the Multifarious. I hope you all enjoyed it anyway. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.